Healing Art with Henry. Woohoo! Hi, welcome to another episode of Healing Art with Henry. I'm Henry, and today we're going to talk about embracing our darker self, embracing our shadow, dealing with something that's a little more complicated in the culture that we're raised in, kind of a puritanical culture that wants us always just to focus on trying to be good. And there's part of ourself that we leave behind when we do that because we're kind of everything. And so from the spectrum of duality of good and evil, we kind of contain all of it. So all the gray area in between and everything. So in kind of honoring ourselves and our whole self, for me, I try to embrace that darkness and find a release for it. I sure like the sound of a paintbrush just hitting a fresh canvas. And the sound just soothes me. So for me, the shadow self, there's a lot to it. There's a lot of feelings there. There's sadness and despair, and grief, and anger and loneliness, and all these feelings that are kind of more negative that we all have and we all have to live with. And sometimes those feelings get really uncomfortable. But for me, I've kind of found at a very young age, when I was, I believe, 19, I was 3 years into playing harmonica. There was a specific night that I was extremely lost and extremely sad, and I was playing my harmonica, and I found that space in myself that was able to dig below all of it and find the expression. And that has allowed me to understand the importance of channeling that information into a creative outlet. And that's kind of what we're going to do today, is just kind of pick a symbol and kind of fearlessly go with that challenge. So I'm going to play a little harmonica and kind of create that space. That was Katie, my dog, and she was doing the lead vocals on that track. So she's a good singer and likes to sing along when I play harmonica. So for a symbol today, I'm going to do a raven on a skull. And the skull to me represents death. And I believe death is what is the biggest unknown. And so there can be a lot of fear kind of tied to death. And I think once we kind of overcome these big fears in our life, then we're not as scared of the rest of the stuff. So the skull represents death, and the crow kind of represents that, for me, represents that desire to get into trouble, the desire to do things that are maybe a bit devilish. I find it really healthy to not bottle things up. When something bothers me, to express it and to let it out in ways that don't cause harm to other people. And so for me, managing those aspects of myself that are uncomfortable and things like that, I often go to artwork to get there. And a good way of doing that is to think symbolically and create a symbol that I can express myself into. And then I can kind of release the energy of that for the day. I think for me, acknowledging death as this inevitable thing coming, right? That I'm going to, at some point in my life, have this experience where I die. And it'll be my last experience, as far as I know. And I want it to be good, you know? I want that experience to be good for some reason. I want to enjoy it. And so I think in life, getting comfortable with the idea of it, so it's not this big scary thing when it happens, right? Kind of gives us this like, and I don't know because I haven't experienced it. I've come close. I've had near-death experiences and things like that, but really near-death experiences. But obviously, be Captain Obvious here, I'm not dead. I'm obviously alive, and it's just an interesting thing to get comfortable with. You know, the Buddhists really spend a lot of time in preparing themselves for that moment, and I kind of find it important for myself as well. We're all energy. Everything is energy. Our thoughts are energy. Our feelings are energy. And energy likes to find energy. So energy likes to find energy that's like it. And so like energy attracts to itself. And so if we have this like energy in our body that's feels negative and we want to release it, a good way to release that is expressing it. And so you're creating something with it, and that energy exchange with this thing that you're creating gives it a release and lets it out of your body. I often have thoughts of revenge, getting even with people who've done me wrong and things like that. And I think of like, you know, what I can do to get back. atom. And I think about it, and oftentimes I've played the scenarios out in my head, and I generally just let it be. I end up letting it go because I think about how important it is, the energy that I live with in my body, and I think returning the whatever the negativity is back at someone else increases that energy within myself that they dumped on me that I didn't want. And so the revenge tactic, although I play it out as a fantasy in my mind, when I can kind of take the time to see it all the way through, I find that I don't really want to follow through with it because I can do something different with that energy. I can utilize that energy for something of gain for myself rather than just a compounding loss. And that's what this is about. It's about having control of our self, understanding ourselves, and being able to control those feelings in ourselves so they don't cause our life multiplied pain. It's really a catharsis to choose some darker symbols that represent something and to express them. It's like being calm with it, being calm with ourselves and in those uncomfortable areas. Give a little patience to ourselves as we work through whatever we're working through in life. There's a lot to work through. I don't think I realized that when I got into life, that there was going to be so much I had to process and work through. But we get better at it with age, so that's the one wonderful thing about getting older. I'm kind of putting these glowing eyes in the skull, and the skull represents death, but the light in the eyes and the glow in the eyes represents knowledge. I don't have the knowledge of death, and you don't get the knowledge of death until you die. And then once you die, you have the knowledge of it, one way or another. So don't be scared to get in there and express your darker self. It's It can be a very light-hearted thing to do, actually. And I think that's kind of what this is obviously not a really scary painting. It's pretty light-hearted and goofy still. And I'm still getting the release that I need. Just remember, this is your life. Life that you're living. And you have the freedom to do whatever you want with it. And you walk around with your energy in your body. And that energy is your responsibility. And you can do with it whatever you want. You can play with it however you want. And that's the finished painting. I'm going to play a little harmonica for you as I say goodbye. Much love and believe in yourself. Peace.